Hey y'all, this video is for all of my Indian friends. You know that I got a lot of churches and stuff that do missionary work out there. Got friends that are out there, got churches and stuff, and I was in a program one time, and I believe that the power of life and death are in the tongue. Those who love life will eat the fruit thereof, and I I'm always speaking good about my Indians. I say they're friendly, they're kind. Going to the places that's affordable. They're just friendly, kind. Sweet souls to be around. It's affordable. I want to see you guys respected, celebrate, and honored. But I was praying one time. I was in a recovery program, and I had to speak something positive out loud. I believe that our Father in heaven spoke the world into existence in the beginning, and that's why we're here. Created us, and that's why there's the Indian people. There's different colored skins, different languages. He created all of us, and he wants us to be respected. He wants us to be celebrated, honored. He wants us to be prosperous and healthy. But I was like, Lord, give me words to speak when I need to speak. And I was watching this preacher, and he said the difference between us now and us 10 years from now is the people we meet and the books we read. And so I spoke that out loud, and then the next dawn, I met my friend of mine. We're talking about TV preachers, and I met Joel Osteen. And so I'm talking to my friend about TV preachers and Joel's name. And I was like, yeah, I love Joel. He's like, oh, I love Joel too. I just got his new book. So I was like, man, I would like to really read that. And so I met my friend. I read this book. And that phrase would just never leave me. And then I was talking to my girlfriend years later, and she started helping this veteran. She'd never helped any veterans before, until then. And then I was working at some place. I met this girl, and her husband was combat warrior. And I just really felt compassion, sincerity of heart, just speaking positive words, over our veterans or whatever. And then later on, I get this job, and I'm working $8 an hour. I'm barely getting by, and I got some serious health issues. I had died on, a drug overdose, and I had traumatic brain injury. And, some serious elements in my health, traumatic brain injury. I was on 10 hits of acid, and I was just stuck in a bad acid trip. And I'm working with a recovering addict, and I find this book. Well, I really need healing. I really need God to move on my behalf, because I'm just barely getting by. I'm at no real prosperity in my life, barely getting by. No 401k, no insurance, no real future in life to speak of, and my health was terrible. And so I pick up this book, and I'm reading it, and I'm expecting him to move on my behalf, and I'm running around, and all of a sudden my church says, well, hey, we can get a job out here at this Christian organization at this college, Anderson University. So I was like, yeah, I'd like to work out there. Better paying job, best paying job I've had really in my whole life compared to everywhere I've worked. And so I'm out there working, and then we get another offer to work at the for security for the Colts. Well, the name of the book is Become a Better You by Joel Osteen. When I was working in that abandoned house, I was working with a guy named Dan and a guy named Lucas. And Dan was a recovering addict. Lucas was the other guy that was working with me. The name of the book is Become a Better You, Lucas. Indianapolis Colts Stadium is Lucas Oil Stadium. Joel's church is the former Compaq Center, which is an NBA stadium, a church that's an NBA stadium, ESPN. So the Colts emblem is a U, Become a Better You. So I'm working out there at the Colts training camp, unaware of this is all planned, and he's going before us, and he's subduing nations and stripping kings of their armor and leveling out mountains and cutting through gates of bronze and bars of iron. And so the Colts leave, and there's this dry erase board. Well, remember I told you I had bad health. And well, Chuck Pagano was the coach at the time, and he had cancer, was looking awful, just about like me. I was looking awful. And I couldn't play jacks. I mean, there's video of me not being able to play jacks and stuff like that. And this, when they were leaving, Chuck Pagano must have wrote down on this dry erase board, and it was a playbook. And the dry erase board went around, and I heard the voice of our Creator, the one that spoke the word into existence with boldness and authority and dominion. It's like try erase. Well, I didn't really think of anything at the time. And so I have no clue any of this is going on, but I know that dry erase board talked to me, and it was out of the playbook. Joel, become a better you. So they have a flame that's out there that just never goes out. And I think about Abraham, or not Abraham, but I think about Moses and, the fiery bush and the great I am. He says, I am the great I am. I am whatever you need me to be. And he called Moses into the ministry to free them from slavery, from the Pharaoh. And he'd done, mighty signs and wonders. And they eventually made it to the promised land and were redeemed from slavery. And now ESPN's my family, a royal race, a royal family, and it's every race being celebrated. And, I took my ESPN family and I strengthened civil rights with NAN, which is the president of NAN, of Black Lives Matter. His name's Al Sharpton. He's the head of civil rights. We're having a rally today for civil rights. And it's just securing, the safety and security of every race, making sure that people are not, in slavery and obtaining what we've obtained and fighting for the rights that people are never enslaved again, and the freedom of speech and so much more. But my friends, I love you. This administration doesn't have a plan for every country across the world, and the way they're treating the immigrants and, these tariffs and, mistreating our allies and messing up our relationships with our allies. And, it's depressing. It makes me furious. I love my Indian people. I want people to see you with respect and dignity. I want people to see you and they see sweet, kind, educated. I want people to see you and they see the food, the culture, the ethnicity. And, that's why we brought NFL out there to India. That's why we have the NBA out there. And I look forward to the whole world tuned in to watching the greatest entertainment in the world celebrate your food, the culture, the ethnicity. I encourage people to lock down cities and towns over there in India with veteran-owned, join the military, because they come out with a quota, it makes safety and security. And I just encourage people to lock down cities and towns with veteran-owned. They give out a sign-on bonus. So I was encouraging people to join the military over here that are legal citizens, use their sign-on bonus to start, veteran-owned businesses and running them through Al Sharpton, and having their favorite sports arenas on them, but starting like hog farms, turkey farms, chicken, dairy, and then breeding them and then slaughtering them, because that's where it's worth it, because a cow line gives birth to one calf. And I know that cows are sacred over there, you know what I mean? And I don't mean any disrespect to those that don't participate in that or whatever, but there's a lot, my religion, and I'm not disrespecting anybody else's religion, that I love Kamala, and she gives homage to your belief system over there. And, she loves the Indian people, we just want you to be respected, celebrated, and honored. But a lot of people eat cows over here, so a lot of dairy products and a lot of other stuff. But, I don't know. I'm just trying to bring the best out of all of us. I want people to be respected, celebrated, and honored. I know it brings safety and security. So, if we could get this started, and then, like we're having these rallies today, y'all. And there's a bunch of Indian people in every state, y'all. And if we just work together, Donald Trump promised everybody these 24-hour promises, a more affordable America. That everything was going to be more affordable, everything's going to be cheaper, and these tariffs are making things more expensive. He promised no war, and we got 2 wars going on. And so, and then the way that we're treating our migrants and our immigrants and our neighbors and making, citizenship that much more difficult, when Kamala is a birthright citizenship and she was a phenomenal vice president. And my friends, I want her, she's done everything to deserve an opportunity as vice president one more time. She was a phenomenal vice president. She loves India. She loves our Jamaicans. She's two races, a descendant of dreamers. And we got to get rid of this administration. So I need your help today to help us, to help you, to help future generations of Indians. Man, I need as many people to get to the college campuses and the trade schools here and over there, you're 18 years or older, to better yourself. When you get your student loan money, you get your FAFSA money that's extra, get with your communities, like Indian people getting together, a community of Indian people, and starting hog farms, turkey farms, chicken farms, and then straight to the slaughter. Obviously, you just keep breeding them and they multiply quick. Different agriculture that's over there that you guys could grow in the spring of next year, or indoors in greenhouses, and then, putting it straight into your own grocery store. You got your own building that's got freezers, the deep freezers, and you're selling, and it's from India. You're buying Indian little chickens and hogs and turkeys, or whatever's grown over there that maybe not be here. And, so that, these every city and every state, especially all these swing states, but we got 50 states, y'all. There's a bunch of Indian people everywhere. And we're getting more affordable, but everybody can't deny the fact that, it's Indian this, Indian that, and it's you guys that are the ones that are getting the cheaper food, and you guys are getting those. I want those utilized funds, in businesses to be passed down from generation. So you guys could do that. Plus you're getting yourself educated. You can join the military and get sign-on bonus and get that education for free, whatever you may choose. They got small business loan, middle-class business loan. The options are endless. If, you guys could all work together and just save up the money to bring the best out of your Indian people somehow, and working together, dude. If we just get every Indian person together, I know there's a bunch of multi-millionaires over there, a bunch of billionaires that are over there. They're selling $5 million visas. You could run them through Al Sharpton. And you could run them through Al Sharpton and get these millionaires and billionaires. My friends, Bill Gross has the greatest technology that's ever been invented for clean energy initiative. Last 30 years, even collects sunlight on the foggy days, and it brings great yields, great returns, great customer satisfaction, and it produces electricity cheaper than any fossil fuel. And so we could place that in the greatest locations in India. You could start your own power companies, powering cities, towns, the whole country. Giving people cheaper electricity, clean air to breathe. You're not putting the carbon emissions, saving the world. You could start electricity companies over there, but you could also start electricity companies over here. And GE, General Electricity, has created wind turbines that are the greatest wind turbines on the face of the planet. And they're meant to endure high velocity winds. These are the greatest two products that have ever been invented. You deserve the best. So if we can get these millionaires and these billionaires over here, I got Joel, it's over in Texas, Kamala's over here in California. So all of you Indian people that would want to bring the greatest get the $5 million visas, get over here and get the greatest two products, and we can power cities and towns making great yields, great returns. So it's the Indian people that are getting these 24-hour promises that Donald Trump is not getting to them, and you get the yields, the returns, you get the credit for it. If there's, the greatest businesses that are over there, and you want to make them into a franchise, and you want to send like an entrusted employer over there and bring them over here to the greatest cities, like, I don't know, Los Angeles, where Kamala's at, or San Diego, or Dallas, or Houston, where Joel's at, Creflo Dollars in Georgia. So, I mean, there's a bunch of places. But I encourage you guys, if you guys go to school, remember that ESPN is the one that's made this available for you guys. And I would just encourage you guys, man, to read Adam Silva's books, read Ray Montague's books, which is the commissioner of the PGA Tour. I would encourage you guys to read Roger Adele's books. I would encourage you guys, to make it to the games, or watch the games from afar, as you guys got a vision. God told Abraham, he was the wealthiest man on the face of the planet. And the scripture says that if we, believe in Jesus, that we're, friends with God like Abraham. And, he said, look at the stars of the sky, look at the sand of the seashore, and gave him a vision. And I want you guys to get a vision, regardless of, Jesus is my Savior, and I believe that Jesus is not God. I believe that there's a Father in heaven that spoke all this to existence. I believe that he did. He created your language, he created your color skin, and a tri-erase moment. And, I believe that he wants you to be prosperous, to be respected, to be celebrated, to be honored, to pass down a legacy of blessings to generations, and we can end slavery. And I've strengthened civil rights with my ESPN family and Nan. And I believe that if we just spent this 3 years relentlessly and consistently bringing the best out of every Indian person, schools, trade schools, you need rehab, get to rehab, get these businesses going, whatever way possible, working as communities to work together to get these going, bringing the greatest businesses from over there over here. Xi Jinping wants peace over there in the Middle East. He said he respects Russia's sovereignty, and he respects he respects Putin's sovereignty, but he says that that if we could work on a negotiation of some sort, that we should try to bring peace to that situation. There's a lot of Russian women that are raising kids right now with no father that's around. We don't want that. We don't want, Ukrainians. And we just think about all the people that have donated to this war that has been going on forever, and it's getting nowhere, but people are just donating a lot of money, to something that just is bringing nothing but destruction and chaos and heartache. And, Kamala, I know she loves the Indian people, and, I don't know. I know people do a lot of business with oil with Russia. And instead of people losing money, I know Xi Jinping said something about making peace. And if we, Putin was willing to negotiate, and we were trying to end every war, bring the greatest entertainment in the world. So we got the Indian people being celebrated, and the whole world tuned in watching the Indians be celebrated. We want the whole world to tune in to the Russians being celebrated, locking down cities and towns with veteran-owned businesses, and the Russians are sitting in stadiums enjoying the greatest entertainment in the world as the food, the culture, the ethnicities being celebrated. So if we could get every one of these world leaders, say you got the most successful businesses that are in your country, you could bring them, instead of in every other country, just bring, I don't know, something successful you want to make into a franchise to Moscow, and you're like, well, we got these successful businesses here, we'd like to have them in a franchise, bring them to Moscow, bring them to Singapore or to Bangkok or, Hong Kong or something, and co-signing with Xi Jinping and creating, because Putin said he was willing to negotiate, and even Xi Jinping was like, if we could get a negotiation of some type of peace, something that, he gets his whole country celebrated, and every other world leader that's donating to this Ukrainian fight, could just all co-sign, and Barack Obama and Joe Biden, which are my friends, which were the president and the vice president and then the president, and Kamala, obviously the vice president, are all my friends. And obviously ESPN's my family. And, and then Al Sharpton, what's the president of NAN, civil rights, could all, secure civil rights, because we have executive orders and strengthening civil rights with my ESPN family. And so, if we could all work together as the world of every race, celebrating every race, strengthening every race, and donate to the cause of making money instead of donating to a cause that's just lost and, ends in more loss of human beings, waste of time, waste of money, waste of resources. When we could end every war across the world and bring world peace and better relationships with all of our allies, and every country's being celebrated. Better relationships, everybody's making money, everybody's being celebrated, and strengthening of civil rights where nobody's ever enslaved anymore. And, because Russia's blew up a lot of the Ukraine, y'all. I mean, there's a lot of, there's really not much there, it's nothing much to gain, and if we could just offer something that is far better than that, obviously if we got that war ended, people would remove the restrictions from Russia, the whole world would be tuned in watching the Russians be celebrated, the Indians be celebrated, better, business deals and relationships with every world leader, in every country. We're all making more money, we're all tuned into their different countries and stuff like that. No more death. So it's just a thought, a prayer. Maybe people can work on it, try to make it happen, because it's going to work out all better for us than what we got going on right now. And it would be way better for him to have that, and there's no loss worldwide, but a gain for everybody instead of what we got going on right now. So, it'd be like, well, that's way worth it. And so if we just get every country across the world that's supporting this to be like, man, he's right, we have everything more to gain, and to gain in the future, a lot more money to be made than donating to a cause of something that nobody's gaining anything, but we're just losing lives and losing a lot of money, and it's just been going on forever. Mitch McConnell is for free trade, but Barack and Joe Biden made a peace deal with Iran over there in the Middle East. And we could celebrate, Gaza, Hamas. I got a bunch of Muslims that are peaceful. That's what they're about, peace, and they believe that there's a good God up there in heaven that wants us to be peaceful and end wars. Celebrate the Muslims over there in Gaza, or, celebrate, Israel and the Jews, Iran, but they made a peace deal with Iran, and it went by good. Barack and them, they obtained it, and there was no war, and they had good relationships with Iran. Joe Biden and Barack, so their word is good, but what they have, not only is their word good, but what they have to offer now is far better. of their country being celebrated and the whole world wanting to watch their food, their culture, their ethnicity. So maybe I can get some Indian people to help, y'all. I encourage you guys, pray for your world leaders. We thank you for your service. We thank you for your government over there in India. We love you guys. We love my Indian people here. We encourage you guys to lock down cities and towns of veteran-owned businesses ready for your country to be celebrated. It'll be bring safety and security. It'll help with the recruits that they want every year. Encourage people to get to the college campus and trade schools. Tune in to ESPN, make it to the games, wear their jerseys, ready for your country to be celebrated, y'all. Yeah, y'all, we could start power companies over here and there with the greatest two products in the market. You're making the greatest yields, returns with the greatest two products. I want you to have the best. You guys deserve the best with great customer satisfaction where it's affordable. But if we just work, every Indian person across America and over there in India, to get the best of the best and bring the best out of every Indian person like we are. And if we just thrive and work together, the sky is the limit. If we just thrive and relentlessly work together to make this happen, we can effortlessly get Kamala as vice president one more time, and Hunter Biden, because when we voted for Joe Biden and Kamala, so it was Biden and Harrison. Well, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, who's a good guy, has been raised around politics his whole life. His father was in politics at 29 years old in the Senate, and then vice president for 8 years, and then president for 4 years. 7th best president in history, 14th best. A 7th best vice president, the 14th best president in history. So he's been raised around this his whole life, and he's been on the front lines of helping his dad while he was vice president and helping while he was president, on the campaign trails. He's full of knowledge, wisdom, insight, and he's educated, and he's younger than Joe Biden. So when you vote for him, you vote for his dad and something better, because he's younger, he's more prepared, he's more educated, he's been trained in it his whole life. So we need Hunter's running as president and Kamala running as a vice president. We've never had a woman president ever. I'm not saying that she doesn't have the compatibility. I voted for her, but we've never had a woman president. And we got 81 million votes with Joe Biden and Kamala, and it was a victory of epic proportions. And I believe that if we just work together, making you prosperous and healthy and bringing those utilized funds to make more funds and give you the best of the best and bring the best out of us, we can effortlessly get them back in office again. But we're going to need each other's help. We're going to have to relentlessly and consistently bring the best out of each other for this next 3 years. I need you guys to vote midterms, and then for the presidency, the midterms will be, you can Google it for each state and find out, and vote blue, whoever it may be that's on there. For Democrats, we need to get as many Democrats in there as possible, then we'll vote again for the presidency 2 years after that, or shortly after, or before that, around about November, for Kamala and Hunter. So, man, I love you, my Indian friends. I need you guys to work on this. I need you to bring the best out of yourself. I want the best for you. So just help me to help us. And I know there's millionaires, there's billionaires over there. They can make great yields and returns over there. They're always wanting to flip money, make more money. And so I got friends over here. We got the greatest products on the market. We can put them in the greatest locations, and we can put them in the greatest locations over there. Make sure to run them through Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matter, okay? We love you.